it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. 7-fit flex on the checks on that. Like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. 7-fit flex on the checks on that. Like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. 7-fit flex on the checks on that. Like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. 7-fit flex on the checks on that. Like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. 7-fit flex on the checks on that. Like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. 7-fit flex on the checks on that. Like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. 7-fit flex on the checks on that. Like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. 7-fit flex on the checks on that.
Karmelo, Anthony, nay, Anthony, nay, Karmelo, Anthony, nay. Oh, I don't even want to start this day off the way I should be starting this day off. And how I have to start this day off is tell anybody out there, hello, 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 hello. Yes, you have tuned in. I don't know if I want to call this news around the queen or the queen around the news. I think I better call it that. I think, damn, if anybody out there watching me, y'all better mark this day down. And I know y'all think I'm joking, but anybody out there that know me and is watching me, they know I always have a notepad. Matter of fact, I might need to just leave that on this pad. Y'all so weird. And you know what? Somebody today called me stupid. I'm like, what a pea brain. I said, this knuckle sandwich head called me stupid. One person just told me, it almost hurt my feelings. I said, but they better be glad I don't got no feelings. I got feelings, but then I don't have feelings these days. I'm going to be honest with you. I got feelings for other reasons now. Either news, queen, around, the news. Or news, around, and it's 2127. Because the day the 2nd. And that's July. At. And we on live. Hey there. Welcome all. Thank y'all so much for joining in, tuning in, and also being in. I just want to kind of quickly bring y'all a couple of updated stories. I don't think I'm gonna be here that long today. I really don't. I think I'm gonna make this pretty quick. It might be pretty quick, it might be pretty simple. And then again, like the way my mind go, it might be none of the above. I might be here longer than what I'm supposed to be here. And I got a meeting at 3:30 that I'm supposed to be to, and I'm gonna try my best to wrap this up because I got to get in the car. I got to drive all the way there. I got to deal with the traffic. I got to deal with the headaches, or I can miss it. And I think I need to make sure I get there. But I just first want to start off with, why is it that people don't allow you to have your own opinion? I'm wondering, like, with the Carmelo Anthony case, for an example, if one feel that he's guilty, possibly by color, whatever the guilt is, if you feel he guilty by color, if you feel he guilty by thug, if you feel he guilty by whatever, I mean, who am I to be upset because because that's your views? Where I got a problem is, why is it that if I have my views and my feelings about the Carmelo Anthony case, why is it that I have to be called names? Why is it that if this young man doesn't have a criminal record, haven't been in trouble, made good grades in school, listen, was the captain of the football team, and you're going to tell me he went to church, but a comment called him a thug? Show me where any of Carmelo's Anthony behavior would have introduced the thought in your mind of thug. See, the reason why I like to bring Trayvon Martin up is because y'all use that as an excuse back then. Back then when it happened to Trayvon Martin. See, so many smart, dumbass people don't. Why do you always bring up Trayvon Martin? Why do you all? Well, because Trayvon Martin was Trayvon Martin. How about that? Anybody going to? How about that? How about I always bring up Trayvon Martin because I want to? How about that? How about that? But you know, one thing that I notice every time I look at a comment, I see the insulting, like calling me a monkey. I see the insulting about calling me an igger. I see all kind of commentary and insulting about Carmelo Anthony. The problem with it is, I wonder why they don't pick up my appearance or anything. Oh, you raggedy teeth. Okay. Oh, you nappy head fro. Okay. Oh, you tall elephant. Okay. So I'm going to applaud all my haters for being nice and kind in that category. That's why I be nice and kind with y'all. So I want to thank y'all for being nice and kind. But I also want to ask, why, if I have my own opinion, why do I have to be called an igger? I mean, so if you're calling me an igger because my verdict lies with Karmelo Anthony, why is it that I have to be called an igger? What should I call you for your opinion? Bet you I can't get them to answer in the comment. See, because we could take the case off the table in that aspect of it. See, because we already know that we're having this conversation because one feel one way and another feel another way. But my problem with it is, ever since I've been doing my videos, I want to know which person can say they heard me call them any kind of name other than a knuckle sandwich head. I feel like that's fair play. But calling me monkeys and iggers and stuff like that, especially when you know associated with, you know, more so of our slavery terminology and, you know, shenanigans and stuff like that, because you know you can't do it like that today because you'll get ducked up, all that type of old stuff. See, I want to know, why is it that it's what would it mean to one for me to start showing my comments of these type of racist comments and stuff like that because of my opinion? Tell me why. But anybody out there that's battling me with Karmelo Anthony, we already know we battling because of Karmelo Anthony. We know that. But see, the problem with it is can we get back to the beginning of the story, you little racist runt you? I want to know, why is it that I have to be called names because of my opinion? Because your opinion isn't a fact and neither is mine. So I want to know who's strong enough to tell me why the name calling. So is the name calling because you're a racist? See, that's the way people like to start the story and then they take it to the end. No, I want to start this story from the beginning because I just know that right now it's honestly about me. It's about me right now because I really can't understand why would one want to go on something as simple as my 15-second short, might be 60 seconds. I want to know, why would one go on a short and feel the need to call names like that? And then like basically derogatory names. Like, why? Because again, we already know that you are commenting on my video because my opinion is not yours. So we know that. So that means, can mature people talk? Because if you got your opinion and you're allowing somebody to talk and you saying it in a respectful way, what's the goddamn problem other than you don't want to hear the truth or you're a racist? Because the truth is my goddamn opinion. We know that as a truth. See, people tell me, oh, ain't no truth in no opinion. You're a goddamn lie. It is a truth in opinion. It's a truth in opinion because I'm the one saying it and I'm telling you my truth. So it's the truth that I'm telling you. Yeah, I get very tedious. I get technical. Because sometimes if you don't go back to being technical, people get a bit confused. I don't know why they be trying to confuse me. I tell y'all all the time, this is why I like my men only live. And I'm still a sweet honeysucker, whether people believe it or not. I promise you I am. My feelings are so hurt on the inside at the way people be treating me, and they don't understand. Man, I give them so many goddamn chances. You could tell I'm the type of person, if I let you go out my life, I'm giving you so many chances to. It's honestly, it's unbelievable, especially when you get such a good person like me. I don't care what nobody else called them. I know what I call me. And long as I call me that, I really don't give a damn what your mammy names is. I want to know, why is it that I can't speak my truth, but I have to be called certain names? Why? But another thing I always told y'all, one thing about me, it's not honestly what people say to me is what I say back. And I wasn't being funny. But I think it was going to be time for me it was going to start being more times than the norm for me to start saying things back. But I had to put I've had to put my form of dignity with it. That's by cutting out certain words out of my vocabulary. Because I could eat your ass up with the common day words. You understand me, picklehead? And that's pickle for P, not D. And that would be a dicklehead. This is a Victoria's Secret pink. And no, I'm not a sponsor. I'm only here to speak my truth about little old Karmelo. Little old Karmelo, where I cannot get one person to even tell me what started this debacle. I ask that question every day I come on, even when I'm talking about Anton Massey. The only place I'm not going to talk about that at is the Small Channel Talent Search, which is Friday. Make sure you're there at 8 p.m., especially my men. Make sure you're there at 8 p.m. Men are the judges, not me. I only plead the case, or whoever house it belongs to, they plead the case. We need to start pepping this up some. It's coming. And when it comes, y'all going to be so surprised. Y'all going to be glad y'all know me when only one person was watching me. The man told me, he said, you got 4 or 5 likes on this video and 13 dislikes. I said, idiot. He says, nobody's watching. I said, idiot. What kind of idiot are you? How could you come and say that and your dumb ass watched? Not only did you watch, you commented too. I said, thank you for watching. Wait a minute. And commenting too, I said, I pinned this comment. I said, this is the top comment. This tops the chart. I said, this ops the chart. OPS. I said, what a knuckle sandwich head. I said, they come on in and think they're embarrassing me. I said, you don't know, you cannot. How could you embarrass me? And I've been embarrassed. I've been so embarrassed. I've been so embarrassed of my life on the inside until I cannot honestly even see anybody standing in front of me when I open my eyes, and I'm not being funny. Period. And it might not be the embarrassed that you're thinking. Period. The truth of the matter is, nobody has answered me yet and said what started this. See, because what started this will trickle down. Like what Trump trying to do with the immigrants. And I'm I that, and we're gonna look at the update on Trump. Because I've gotten tired of a couple different things. See, I want to make sure people understand, but I guess I'll talk about that when I go to talk about Trump. See, that's why you come to, listen, when you come to Diddy around the world, Queen around the world, that means I'm around the world and I'm telling you how I feel about the news, goddamn it, or Queen all in the news, whatever you want to call me, whatever you want to say. I might be over here right this second, and then something in my head might tell me to click and run over there. So if you don't like the way I commentate on my news, you better haul ass, because this is about the only show you're going to get news around the room. I'm around the world, and my head be around the world. Because if I talk about this and then it branch me over there, and then somebody come back over here, I don't know, because the two might mesh up together. If you ask me, I feel like it do mesh up together, because when I'm thinking about what Trump thinking about, and I'm thinking about what Anton Massey, I'm thinking about a big deal here. I'm thinking about something huge. I'm thinking about if you chip at it from the bottom, you'll get it. Eventually, guess what's going to happen? It's going to have to eventually crumble down, because it ain't got no legs to stand on. So this is what I'm trying to say. If we knew what started this, I wonder, would we be able to change things around? If we can get to the bottom of what started this. Hey, Rational. Thank you for flying in, Rational. Rational want to come in. Get on my damn nerves today. I don't know why Rational don't find another house to sit at. Let me get to some stuff, because I'm not gonna sit here and play with Rational. Let's see.
Indicted 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony just last week for a deadly altercation that happened at a Texas track meet in April. And now News Nation has viewed a critical piece of video evidence. 17-year-old Austin Metcalf was killed. Anthony admits he stabbed Metcalf while both took cover under a team tent during a rain delay. But Anthony says he was acting in self-defense. News Nation's Rich McHugh has been tracking this case. And Rich, you are one of the reporters who got to view this important piece of evidence.
Yeah, Nicole, they allowed me to view this video under strict conditions. I couldn't record anything. I couldn't take pictures. I could take notes, but that's about it. They would play it one time, and they wouldn't even rewind it or play it again, even the moment in question. So what I saw in the video was ultimately it's from the press box across the field on the 45-yard line. You can view a yellow tent across the field. That's where this incident happened. There's no sound on the video. And it's raining. You can see about 30 to 40 people around the field. It's a track meet that morning, so they're preparing for this track meet. The incident in question happens at 9:44 a.m. It's really calm up until that point, and then chaos ensues, and you can't really make up anybody. You can't make out individuals. You can see people and colors and what they're wearing, but you can't make out identities. But again, at 9:44, chaos ensues. What I did not see was any obvious physical altercation leading up to the stabbing. Now, I went inside the stadium earlier this morning to try and give a better vantage point of where this all happened. Take a look. Across the field, you can see where the press box cameras captured everything. We're on the 45-yard line here. This is where it ultimately happened. There's a tent right up here, the kind of the sports tent where everybody was huddled. At 9:44, whatever went down happened right here. Everybody kind of took off. Now, according to police reports, Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony were here at this track meet. Austin Metcalf told Anthony he needed to move out from under their team's tent when Anthony grabbed his bag, reached inside, and told Austin, quote, "Touch me and see what happens." The police report states Metcalf grabbed Anthony to tell him to move. Anthony pulled out a knife, stabbed Metcalf once in the chest, and ran. Metcalf died in his twin brother's arms. And now, as of last week, Karmelo Anthony indicted for first-degree murder. Nicole?
So, Rich, how might this affect court?
Well, it's a good question. Court date has not yet been set. His first appearance is set, I believe, for July 17th. This video, from what I saw, the question I have is, will they be able to enhance it and to view it, to zoom in? Because what I saw happened very quickly, and there was no obvious altercation just before. So it could be a case where both sides will see what they want to see, but the question remains, how much can they kind of alter or zoom in on this video, Nicole?
All right, Rich McHugh live for us there as this case continues to unfold. Track meet in April.
He was just as lame as her hair. I don't understand what in the hell just happened. I thought y'all wanted to talk about he's the national news and the new footage has been seen, and there was no footage. So if you're going to tell me that the camera only captured something from so far away, you're only going to tell me it was obvious. It wasn't any obvious nothing that you seen. But then in the same breath, you said it looks like about 45 people was huddled around. So what did you see? Because if 45 something people huddled around, how did you see who the two people was? Did Karmelo Anthony have on red or did he have on yellow? I'm so confused at this video. This is why people get upset when somebody have an opinion and they think I'm their monkey. White people, stop calling me a monkey. White people, stop calling me an igger. White people, it's not nice. But if that's what you want to call me, okay, say it in my face. Little twiddling Facebook and YouTube fingers. How did this lady right here and knew something go along with this story? I mean, she was just as dud as he was. She probably, in her matter of fact, I'll take that back, lady. This lady probably saying to herself, what the hell? They're going to get me involved in this. This lady probably saying, you could tell, look at her face. You could tell that lady just as innocent as lying. Look how innocent this woman is. This woman is so innocent. She's looking around like, did he just get me in the middle of that? Did he really just have me report on such an important case in my life right now? Because I got the inside news and scoop whenever it hit the pot. Did he really just put me in the middle of that? I take you out of it, young lady. I digress. There's nothing wrong. I appreciate you because you're at work. I know how it feels. I can't do your job because I don't care who you are. If I don't agree with you, I'm going to be saying it and they will kick me off of their network and they would not like me. And that's the end of it. That's why I don't care about a Republican. I don't care about a Democrat. I'm going NPA, non-partisan. Look me up. NPA, all you little Democratic heads. She's a Democrat. She's a Democrat. She's a liberal. Lady told me that I was working at one of the precincts in Boca. Oh, because you're a liberal. Girl, if you don't get your liberated ass out of my face, how you going to come in my face? You know you live in a whole nother state. You done brought your pot-belly pig ass over here in Florida, and you know you live in New York, and you know good and goddamn well you don't got no license for Florida. You know you didn't register here. You know you didn't transfer your stuff here. You're going to call me a name because you can't vote. I mean, was that a Republican thing? I mean, god damn. I was sitting there saying to myself, lady, haul ass, please. This is only a badge for me. I'll take this damn badge off. And boy, look at here. That's all I'm trying to say. But good people and bad people. I don't know who reported on this story. The story makes no sense to me. I'm looking at this and I'm saying, my googly God, this storyline is so goddamn corny until he came up and told us absolutely nothing. He told us nothing. And then he lied. They ran out there like they had some sufficient evidence. He ran out there because they trying to boost up their news station. He came out there with nothing. Oh, yeah, we seen the video, and the video had them, and everybody was just hovered around. It was like 45 of them. All of them was hovered around, but it didn't look like there was no, like it didn't suggest anything. So what you trying to throw shade? Because you're telling on yourself both ways. How did it not suggest anything if you see 45 people hovered around in one circle looking like ... You ain't going to tell me 45 people that should be turned around watching the track meet. You're not going to tell me that didn't come off as suspicious. It didn't look like, so if it didn't come off as suspicious,
and now News Nation has viewed a critical piece of
News Nation has viewed a critical piece of evidence. Yes, they did. News Nation. News Nation's piece of evidence is so critical until it proves that Karmelo Anthony, there by himself, with no one around him to help. It proves that 45 of y'all had to hover around this one kid that's by himself. And it proves absolutely nothing to self-defense.
video evidence. 17-year-old Austin Metcalf was killed. Anthony admits he stabbed Metcalf while both.
Why would he lie? Why would he lie? And he know there's eyes in the sky and there was boots on the ground. I mean, come on, doodoo brain. Why would he lie about that? I mean, when I look at these two, I see one that looks scared. And I see one that look like he can be beastful. I'm looking in the face of one, and I see one that's telling me I'll go for it if I have to. Rest in peace, deceased. Now I'm looking at the picture. The picture that I see right now is two kids up on the screen. I see one kid that looks as though he is beastful. Like if you tell me no, I want to know why, dude. Like to back up. I see that. And then I see another kid that's not used to this type of drama and attention. I see one kid that don't mind being in the woods slaughtering hogs. I mean, his mama them said that I didn't. He was just in the woods the week before. Why you keep saying that? God damn it, because he couldn't have been scared. He'd been in the woods. How scared was he? There's no way you're going to tell me he's scared. Scared of what? Shooting the hog or shooting the pig? What was he more scared of when his daddy said, please take me in the woods? I'm ready to shoot a hog or a pig. His daddy said it. So he couldn't have been that scared to get brother. He looks like he's a bully. Rest in peace, deceased. And I apologize that I have to hit you like this. I still will remain in my heart and say rest in peace, but I have a kid to defend. People don't like it. It's okay. Everybody say, oh, we need to wait till the story come out. How much more of the story to come out are you going to need? The question is, what's this self-defense? So what evidence do I need to use? I'm looking at how one person looked like they're a bully, and when you say no, they keep going. I mean, because y'all did say Karmelo Anthony said, touch me. So only a bully will go to touch somebody. If I've given you warning, and the man at the camera just said about 45 people surrounded this situation. I'm not going to be scared for my life around all of these people I don't know, and I don't even go to that school.
Both took cover under a team tent during a rain delay, but
they took cover under a team tent. I finally have someone that has told the truth. She just answered the question, what started this? I will play it back because she said it. She said it. She goddamn said it.
delay. But Anthony says during a rain delay.
During a rain delay. I agree with her wholeheartedly at what started this. Being tedious and technical, my ass. What started this? What started this was a goddamn, you just heard the lady say it. Because I'm going to ask this question again. Because it ain't like nobody watching me. But I can say this. Whatever, ever stunt they try to prove that it can't be self-defense, he intentionally did this, he intentionally did that, I will still beg the pardon is how did you come up with your intent? Oh, he brought a weapon to school. He brought a weapon on school grounds. He did that. The problem with it is, if you want to charge him for bringing a weapon to school, charge him with that. But to say murder, and he meant to do that, you got to prove that. They will have to prove that. And this attorney, he better make sure he's a good attorney. I don't give a damn if you take your ass back, play the video back while they talking in the courtroom. See, I like to pull stunts like that. Liar. I want to know what. So because he took, see, you got to see, I'm telling you, boy, I get so far from what y'all at until you got to start telling the truth from the beginning. And I'm not kidding. You have to tell the truth from the beginning. And that's why I keep asking what started this. Nobody can seem to get their ass in the chat. Nobody want to step on the stage with me. Nobody want to tell me. All the haters, what they do is Twitter finger, YouTube finger, Wi-Fi finger, Instagram finger. They do all these fingers and all this stuff, and they send me all them comments. And then I get on the stage like this, and they get so scared to get on the stage with me. And I don't blame them. I don't blame you for getting your scared ass up here, especially when I got the mic. And I don't believe in blocking you because I already blocked all the words I don't want to read. So ain't nothing else you could tell me unless you talking the truth, unless it makes sense, unless we getting along. And listen, even if we don't get along, long as you're being respectful with it, you can honestly say what you want to say to me. And it better be within respect, or that's the conversation. However, people don't want to hear you tell. They don't want to hear the truth. The problem with it is they don't want to hear the truth. The problem with it is they don't want to hear the damn truth. They don't like to hear the damn truth. And that's what the problem is, if you ask me. The problem with it is they don't like to hear the truth. Anybody want to send me a message, but they're not going to answer the question as to what started this, because they saying it was intent. That's why he brought a knife. They said it was intent. That's why he brought a knife. They said it was intent. It was premeditated. He get first-degree murder. I want y'all to stop y'all stinking asses right there. Stop y'all stinking rusty asses right there. I want to know, nobody, if you want to get on the stage and talk, you're more than welcome to. At the end of the day, I want to know what started it. You're going to say that it was premeditated. It's premeditated. The kid brought a knife to school. So every day you walk with a premeditation. Nobody don't know how long he had this knife. See, that's why I say you got to back up. Because if we trying to get to the truth, how could you just skip to the end? If we just gonna skip to the end, then we need to rest in peace the deceased. That should be the end. I mean, because self-defense is self-defense. Slap me in my face and I uppercut your ass and you lose all your grill. How you going to tell me the punishment didn't fit the crime? You get, oh, but y'all don't say that when you send them to jail, though. Yeah, please.
But Anthony says he was acting in self-defense.
If the man just said that it was about 45 people surrounding this incident, if it was about 45 people surrounding this incident, I want to know, if I'm by myself and I see 45 heathens surround me, nobody saying, leave this man alone, break it up, leave this man alone, get out this man's face to show me that I got any kind of moral support or dignified support, why would I not be in self-defense mode? But see, me, the type of person, I want to ask the question, was there anybody else under that damn tent that didn't belong there? I will honestly want to ask, were there who all was under that damn tent? Because, see, that's going to open the door too. Because when Mr. Dignified over there pulled that recording, when he pulled that recording during that rain delay, I better not see nobody under that tent out of the way except Karmelo Anthony. Thank you for telling us that you got that bit of evidence. I got his book. I got his book. At the end of the day, oh, I'm about to say this is book. I'm about to say, where is the rest of my stuff? If it was that intentional, what Karmelo Anthony did, I definitely want to look at that video footage. This footage is also the key.
NewsNation's Rich McHugh has been tracking this case. And Rich, you are one of the reporters who got to view this important piece of evidence.
Yeah, Nicole, they allowed me to view this video under strict conditions. I couldn't record anything. I couldn't take pictures. I could take notes, but that's about it. They would play it one time, and they wouldn't even rewind it or play it again, even the moment in question. So what I saw in the video was ultimately it's from the press box across the field on the 45-yard line. You can view a yellow tent across the field. That's where this.
Now, mind y'all, dumb people, if you ever been to a football game and they put that tent above the head and you see how you got a slope, if the tent is down, and that's not even a slope, what make it so bad? Because we even need to see where the hell they were positioned at. Because I want to know, how did you hone in on my black ass Karmelo Anthony by himself and you can see what you need to see and you here reporting this badass news as if you telling us something, but you said 45 people was surrounding him. How could 45 people be surrounding him with the tent? Don't forget, the tent have the flaps on it. Y'all know how long I was a vendor at them football games? Them tents have flaps on it. So imagine 45 people stacked up under that tent. What did you see, Neil? You are this is where people report whatever news they want to report. Think about, if I don't know if you can see my cursor, but you're on the bottom row because this is a team's tent he went under. That's a bottom row. How much did you see with 45 people surrounding it? I hate when people, This attorney better be so good until, I promise you, I'm going to be the first person to say, I'm going to be the first person to say, at the end of the day, at the very end of the day, God damn it, who all was under the tent? And I'm asking all these dummies, not only who all was under the tent, what started this? What started this? What started it? What started this? Because it wasn't in my damn Kool-Aid. What started this, dummies? Take your time, don't you rush. No idiot have yet to answer me what started this. This man said he need to make sure they can zoom in more. See, because we got a lot of pickle heads steady. See, one thing I notice about people, they will never answer the question. When I ask anybody a question and I ask them a question just like that, that means it's a yes or it's a no. They could never, they always deflect and deflect and deflect. This is why I love my Men Only Live, because I got to come to work like this. I got to go through all of the knuckleheadness and the school of happen. At the end, what in the hell, mate? Mate, you told me that, you know, I didn't say that, mate. Like, you know, what, mate? Nobody tells me what started this. I know one thing that's going to end it. When we start talking about Trump, when we get ready to do the when I bet you and I switch these gears real quick and I go talk about them immigrations because Trump said make them go. See, we got a lot of Trump supporters, don't we? My God, to be. Wonder what happens when I switch that up on y'all. I switch them gears. See, I don't mind uppercutting your ass just like that. Now, I'll uppercut you. If sometimes the fist don't help, you got to get a person with your elbow. Cha-cha. You got to pat out. You got to uppercut their ass so goddamn bad until they forgot they had teeth in their mouth. Dummies. Bunch of idiots.
Incident happened. There's no sound on the video. It's rain.
So it ain't no sound on the video. Here's the thing, dummies. There is no sound on the video. So if there's no sound on the video, you can't hear what transpired, because telling Karmelo Anthony to move is not what started that particular incident. See, that's where y'all keep skipping and not understanding and not answering questions. At the end of the day, if there is no sound, what did the rest in peace deceased say? What did the defender say? We don't have to see altercation in that moment. We are trying to figure out from the beginning what started it. Because if y'all can start telling the truth about what started it, then we can get to the nitty-gritty of things. But see, steady lying and not knowing what started it, I bet you not one person can put a 1 in the chat and tell me what started it. And I just said what started. Matter of fact, the news anchor just told you what started it. But ain't nobody with common sense to tell you what started it. Nobody with common sense. You damn right the rain started it. Y'all trying to say it's intent. How could it be intent? The only reason why he got up under the tent was because it was raining. Y'all putting it as if, oh, he had a weapon on him, so he meant to commit the crime. No, when he brought that weapon with him, He already had the weapon. The only reason why he got under the tent was because it was raining. Let's make that clear. How could it be premeditated? He premeditated, not that you can't say he premeditated to kill him. That's why he brought the weapon with him. No, 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 no. He already had the weapon. So if you want to charge him with the weapon, charge him with the weapon. Because he only got under the tent. Some people saying, oh, he came there to fight. He came there to do this. He came there. How? He didn't come there to do anything. So if we get to the point of the matter, he only got up under the tent because it was raining. Had it not been raining, he would not have been up under the tent. He came up under the tent because it was raining. When he walked through the gates of that school, he had to walk all the way on the other side. I have heard nobody report incidents that Karmelo and this young man had an incident prior. I even had a goofball say he was gay. I say, okay, throw the fish in the line. I said it right. Throw the fish in the line. I mean, what a dumbass. That's when you know people don't, that's when you know race bases on it. It's about race then, because when you start asking the right questions, people don't want to answer those questions. All you got to do is ask questions. People go to deflecting, and they get so far away from the truth. And sometimes you got to let them people go, because you're going to be always trying to prove yourself. Even in cases like this, I hope that Karmelo Anthony has a very good attorney. And he better know how to tackle every word a person say. If they lying, call them out. And make them get your ass off the stage. Get off the stand. I bet you I could do it. Tedious, nitpicking, you damn right. What do you mean? You're supposed to nitpick. God damn it. Anything they say, you're supposed to nitpick it back down to the roots. I told y'all that's why I like my men only live. I go to my men only live. I don't want you asking me no questions about no case unless I'm in the mood, and that's a little bit in the mood. Listen, if you take me out on a date with my dating dilemma, you take me out on a date. Here's the thing. I am happily separated. I will not lie. I've been separated. Yesterday made 3 years I've been separated. Listen, I don't want to talk about business on no dates. And I might do virtual dates right here. I might do some virtual dates. I'm on a virtual date. Someone is trying to date me. And I might just do it on my live. Queen Diddy on a virtual date. I might be on a virtual date with somebody in a whole nother country. I don't know. I'll let y'all see it. Y'all decide to chat. And don't forget that small channel talent search every Friday, 8 p.m. I need men. It's my men. Because men are the judges. I only pitch your channel. I go to your house, you drop it in the comment, you send it to me, you step on stage, I'll pitch it. They're going to give me like 5 minutes to pitch it. And I'll tell you how I feel about it. That's every Friday. Y'all got to go check me out. And bring your channel to the panel. It's called YouTube's Small Channel Talent Search. Come on in. Come on in. I wanted to come on in. Come on in. Because if we come on in, we'll be able to tell the truth. Or better yet, listen, if you don't come on in to tell the truth, maybe you could come on in to hear the truth. Everybody keeps saying, oh, he went there to do this. He went there to do that. How? How would you have known he had a knife? How would you not have known that he had a knife? That's the question I want to know. How would you not have known? Hey, let me see if I got a smart ranter here. How would you not have known that he didn't have a knife? Any dummy, I want one idiot to tell me, how would you have known? How would you not have known that Karmelo Anthony had a knife on him? How would you not have known that? I just want to know, how would you not have known that Karmelo Anthony did not have a knife on him? Anybody? Knock, knock, knock. Anybody home? Anybody want to answer the question? How would you not have known that Karmelo Anthony did not have a knife on him? And I got the answer, and I even put it there because if anybody answer me, which I bet y'all won't get none of that type of answer, at the end of the day, y'all can say what y'all want to say when it comes down to finding the truth, getting the truth, and hearing the truth. A lot of people don't want to hear none of that. They don't want to be around it. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to accept it. They don't even want to answer the damn questions with their deflecting asses. Everybody that came to me with the little racist ass rants and tongues and Twitter, YouTube ass social fingers. That's all they want to do is they come at you with their little fingers, and then when you lay it on the line and you ask them one question they can never answer. When I look at this picture again, and I could beat this video so far down until it's shameful that I could even go that deep in it. This news station just basically reported something to let us know that they're gearing in the direction of the rest in peace deceased. Because as many times as I've been to the football game with my son, I've never, ever would agree that you could sit all the way on the other side, even the camera, with the way the tent hangs down. And I'm sure the tent was even slouching down. The tent was slouching down. So if the tent was slouching down, that's even less of a view that you would be able to see. So I have a problem. If the tent even slouched down and it was raining and there was 45 people you say was surrounding the tent, how did you see anything that would allude to what you didn't see was all this moving around that you said? How could you allude to that? So it wouldn't have been weird to see those 45 people. It was raining, the tent was slouched down, and you didn't really know what you was looking at anyway. But you only seen that everybody was turned the opposite way. Liars. You can refute this video. We got to watch this goddamn video.
You can see about 30 to 40 people around the field. It's a track meet that morning, so they're preparing for this track meet. The incident in question happens at 9:44 a.m. It's really calm up until that point, and then chaos ensues, and you can't really make up anybody. You can't make out.
You can't make up anybody. You can't make up anything. He just said it. You can't. How could you make up anything? Those tents are slouched down with flappers like.
Individuals. You can see people and colors and what they're wearing, but you can't make out identities. But again, at 9:44, chaos ensues. What I did not see was any.
How do you know what you did not see if you see 45 people? I mean, what was you supposed to see? You wasn't going to see nothing until you see what you seen. And that's once the jabbing got there, because you wouldn't see no chaos, because if the tent already slouched down, plus it's raining, how are you going to see up under that tent? It's already chaos right there. I mean, what would you have thought those people was doing? Because clearly they weren't trying to break nothing up. So what kind of chaos was you going to see? Because it was just that quick. Slick ass.
The obvious physical altercation leading.
How you going to see the obvious physical altercation? You got 45 people in front of you. It's raining. Tent slouched. You're not going to see the altercation. What you're going to see, two hands in the air, or you're going to see them down on the ground. It wasn't that type of altercation. It wasn't that. It's not the head banging altercation that we're referring to. It's the intent. Because you're saying Karmelo Anthony intended and premeditated. And it's the intent of a bully that tried to attack, tried to bogart, tried to whatever. And I know he wasn't that scared. He couldn't have been that scared. Not slaughtering hog, knew karate. But no one would answer, why didn't this young man tell his coach? What gave him the right? Because let's watch a little bit more of this.
Leading up to the stabbing. Now, I went inside the stadium earlier this morning to try and give our viewers a better vantage point of where this all happened. Take a look. Across the field, you can see where the cameras, the press box cameras.
All the way across that field. All the way across that field. Now, mind you, the tent leans. So all the way across that field, what you notice, buddy? Now, mind y'all, it was raining. Tent slouched. See, because the tent don't sit like this. It's on the bleachers. It leans down like a hill. So all the way across from just even here. What you seen? Unless you ain't never been to a football, track meet, baseball game before, sat on bleachers. Out the door, of course. And it's raining, of course. And you got 45 people hovering over the tent, so you can't see under the tent. Seemed like the only ones you would have been able to see was the biggest asses, because Karmelo Anthony not their height or size. So if you seen anybody, you seen the biggest asses standing in front of somebody being bullyish.
Captured everything. We're on the 45-yard line here. This is where it ultimately happened. There's a tent right up here, the kind of the sports tent where everybody was huddled at 9:44. Whatever went down happened right here. Everybody kind of took off. Now, according to police reports, Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony were here at this track meet. Austin Metcalf told Anthony he needed to move out from under their team's tent.
Rest in peace, deceased told Karmelo he needed to move out from under his tent.
And when Anthony grabbed his bag, reached inside and told.
And then Anthony grabbed his bag and reached inside and told him,
Austin, quote, touch me and see what happens.
Touch me and see what happened.
Police report states Metcalf grabbed Anthony.
Metcalf grabbed Anthony. Why? Why? Right there. Even if we skip to this part. If he said under the tent, the camera shows about 45 people. If Karmelo Anthony is over there and he don't go to that school, but he's up under the tent, there's 45 people surrounding him. Two big boys at that. One of them, rest in peace, deceased. Why did you grab me? Why did you grab me? So which one was premeditated? When I told you, no, I'm not moving, number one. And then I told you, touch me and see what happens. Or you telling me to move, and then you putting your hands on me because I said no. Like, which one is it? Y'all trying to not hold somebody accountable. You got to hold those accountable where they need to be held accountable at. If you want to charge him with something, it would not, and it cannot be first-degree murder. Number one. Number two, he only went up under the tent because it was raining. Had he not been up under the tent, how would you know he was there? Number three, if that many people were surrounding me and somebody that felt like they could just move me from up under the tent, self-defense plays my biggest role. I gave you a warning. Right there, he should have went and told his coach, this man was under our tent and he got a knife on him. Y'all want to talk about premeditated? So you was planning to hurt him. So you seen the knife, just like your mother said. You seen the knife and you still kept going because you're persistent. I think I already said this before. Now you got the news anchor reporting. What is he reporting? Good news or bad news at this point? His brother said it. How do y'all determine my fear? He just said it. About 45 people was surrounding them. I don't go to that school. This is a confusion to me, Rational. This is not confusion. This is getting to the point. This is really figuring it out, because what you're not looking at, it is a charge of first-degree murder, first-degree premeditated, because he had a weapon on him. But we need to keep it real. He got up under the tent for a reason. I know good and well. Did Rational just say, see, this is why this is why you got to be careful listening to people. Rational clearly has never been to a football game before. Rational just said the tent wasn't leveled. The tent isn't leveled. The canopy was not slanted. It was level on the bleachers. The legs on the canopy are adjustable. But to put a tent down, it has to be slanted because they're on slanted areas. It's not on one bleacher. So what do you mean? I mean, come on, think. Don't be his attorney. Please be the attorney with the state. I just told Rational he has the right to go over there with the district attorney. Go to the district attorney, go over there to the state attorney, go over there to all the attorneys, go over there everywhere you need to go at, because at the end of the day, it ain't going to work over here. I would never want you as my defense. I wouldn't even want you to even act like you defended me. Kool-Aid. I would not. Rational gives the reason why I would appreciate you if you go over there to the state attorney's office is because then I know there's no competition there. I would know you. I say, okay, we got this. Keep going. Oh, that's all he said. Keep. I would love you to go and team up with the state attorney. The tent is not slanted.
They tell him to move. Anthony pulled out a knife, stabbed Metcalf once in the chest. Tell him to move. Anthony pulled out a knife, stabbed Metcalf once in the touch me and see what happens. The police report states Metcalf grabbed Anthony to tell him to move. Anthony pulled out a knife, stabbed Metcalf once in the chest and ran. Metcalf died in his twin brother's arms, and now, as of last,
I definitely was going to show the video with the brother, but I'll hold off on showing that one too. Y'all listen to this. Now, I'm going to read this. Look at this. No one saw the knife until Karmelo stabbed him with it. So that means what this dummy is saying again is Karmelo had the knife in his hand. So Karmelo had the knife in his hand. So if Karmelo had the knife in his hand, answer me this. Why did this man just say this?
Chest and ran. Metcalf died in his twin brother's arms. The police report states Metcalf grabbed Anthony to tell him to move. Anthony pulled out a knife.
Anthony pulled out a knife. Where did he pull out the knife from? Where did he put? So premeditated. Which one would be premeditated? The one that should have turned around and when it got an adult, or the one that put his hands on someone, or the one that had to see that he had to defend himself? So I wonder, did the deceased have the right to walk away? Answer the question. Did the deceased have the right to walk away? Was he supposed to put his hands on him? Yes or no? Was he supposed to put his hands on him? Yes or no? Can I get an answer? Was he supposed to put his hands on him? Yes or no? Was he, rest in peace, deceased, was he supposed to put his hands on him? Was it premeditated that you kept coming at me? Was it premeditated that you did not walk away and go get your coach? When did the premeditation start? See, you're skipping. Then one thing about you, you never answer a question. Never. Every law should be clear in the matter to walk away, even when you're provoking it. Even did he provoke this young man or not? Did he provoke or not? That's when you don't get people to answer. Did he provoke or not? Did he provoke or not? Who did the provoking? Who? Who?
Stabbed Metcalf once in the chest and ran. Metcalf died in his twin brother's arms, and now, as of last week, Karmelo Anthony indicted for first-degree murder.
And that's what here's another news station reporting on irregular, bogus news that's geared to certain people.
So, Rich, how might this affect court?
Well, it's a good question.
A lot of things is a good question. Like, why did you even new information view footage of Nation News viewed the footage? So y'all tampering with evidence. You're only a news anchor. If that's evidence, how is he allowed to see it? I don't understand that. Because if that's if that is evidence, how and who would have gave the news the right to see it? How you do that? Is that legal? Oh, they promised. We had to promise not to. So you had to promise that we will listen to whatever you tell us. I'm getting off this alley cat. This is an alley cat. That sounds like a bunch of crop. That's a bunch of BS. I should question that. I honestly should question that. Diddy. Sean Diddy Combs verdict, live updates. Jury convicts Combs of 2 counts in sex trafficking. Wow. Come on, video. Come on, video. I definitely kind of want to hear a little bit of this. Why is these commercials so long?
Missy, because we are getting the verdict coming in right now. This is coming in real time, and we have count 1 here. This is the racketeering charge. We have the count here of not guilty on racketeering. This is coming in real time. We have count 2 also coming in here, not guilty. That is the sex trafficking of Cassie Ventura. Count 3, we have guilty. Count 3 is guilty for the transportation of Cassie Ventura. That is guilty. Count 4, this is the sex trafficking of Jane. That's a pseudonym. Not guilty. Count 5, we have guilty. That is 5 counts. We have a mixed verdict here. Again, count 1, as it relates to racketeering, not guilty. Count 2, as it relates to sex trafficking, not guilty. Count 3, guilty. Count 4, not guilty. Count 5, guilty. Now, we should bring up here, Misty, all of these counts have a range of different sentences, a range of different evidentiary burdens, a range of different outcomes we could have had here. But it is a mixed verdict, if you will.
It's a mixed verdict, but it is a stunning victory for the defense. The Mann Act, these charges, these were the easiest for prosecutors to prove, the lowest hanging fruit, merely required showing that state lines were crossed for the purpose to engage in prostitution. We saw a lot of evidence on these charges, did not have that element, Laura, of force, fraud, or coercion. And this carries the lightest sentence of these charges. It is a maximum of 10 years. Mm-hmm. And keep in mind, when you're talking about maximums aren't the rule. They are the exception. They're for the most exceptional and severe cases. So now you're talking about a sentence that's potentially in the lower range with time served because he's been behind bars. The fact that these sex trafficking charges, specifically with respect to Cassie Ventura, means that the jury was convinced by the defense, at least with respect to reasonable doubt, that the commercial sex, i.e. the freak-offs, were not connected to some of this violence, that there was not that force, fraud, or coercion element. That is by far, from a penalty perspective, the most serious. It carried a 15-year minimum. So that is a huge distinction. This is the best case scenario, in my view, for the defense. A lot of us opined yesterday that when the jury asked for a readback of Cassie Ventura and Daniel Phillips, one of the escorts' testimony, that read perhaps negatively for the defense. The jury was digging in to see if there was that force, fraud, or coercion. Clearly, it went the other way.
And it's interesting because the prosecutors had told them you don't have to find force, fraud, or coercion on every single instance that he did this, right? You only have to find one. It doesn't have to be that this happened every time. But for the racketeering, you really did need to find a pattern of behavior. You needed to find a criminal enterprise that he engaged in with other people, right? When people think of racketeering, they think of the mob. They think of running drugs. They think of running guns. Now, federal prosecutors have used a far more expansive view of racketeering, especially in recent years in SDNY, right? Because they want to bring in all of the worst evidence. They want to stretch back the material decades ago. And so you've talked about how it allows them to tell a full story. Well, it turns out doing that in this case did not fulfill what the prosecutors had hoped, because obviously they have now cleared him. They have acquitted him of that top charge of racketeering. They have acquitted him of the two other charges of using force and fraud, despite having that video, right, Misty? We talked about that video being so damning for him, where you see him on tape pulling Cassie Ventura by the hair. You see him stomping on her. The jury heard evidence that he actually paid money to a security guard to bury that video, paid him in a paper bag, and yet it wasn't enough.
It was not enough. So when it comes to the sex trafficking, yesterday, those questions that the jury asked for the readback with respect to the testimony aligned perfectly to what prosecutors in their closing argument said were three very obvious instances of sex trafficking, because they did not have to find that it was the hundreds of times that Cassie Ventura had testified that she engaged in these freak-offs. So prosecutors pointed to these three. That testimony aligned exactly to that, what the jury wanted to hear. So here's where the defense clearly broke that chain, because what needed to happen was that the jury believes that the commercial sex act, so those freak-offs, that Cassie Ventura engaged in them because of that violence, because of the force that Combs was exerting, because of extortion about releasing these videos. But what the defense argued was there were lots of other reasons. There was jealousy in the relationship. Yes, there was violence, but it related to these personal romantic relationships that he had with both Cassie and Jane. As opposed to being part
of this masterminding of an enterprise.
And you know what's interesting, Laura? So now we opined about why the jury was not on the same page when it came to RICO. We said, was it because they couldn't agree on a predicate crime, or was it because they just couldn't get there with respect to the idea of this criminal enterprise, which has been very amorphous during the course of this case from prosecutors, hasn't really defined what it is or its purpose. And the answer is, it's that. It's either they didn't believe there was a conspiracy or the enterprise existed. And I say that because the Mann Act, these two charges are predicates for RICO. Yeah. So if they believed that there had been a criminal enterprise,
that would have been enough.
This would have satisfied the predicate crimes. So that means
they didn't satisfy that.
Here's the scoop from NBC News, a new podcast where conversations and headlines are served daily.
My God, to be. I don't know what my decision is when it comes to that puffy comb. When it comes to puffy combs, P. Diddy, Sean John, I feel like he escaped the bullet. And he know he escaped the bullet. And I will hope, because clearly there's a lot of victims out there. I'm sure there are. But they didn't step up. And that's their loss. unless they step up. I just hope that whatever happened, that P. Diddy will, period, stop. That's my honest opinion of it. No joke. This man celebrating. Trump celebrates SCOTUS. When limiting judge vows to push the childbirth back.
I know it's a cliche, but in the world of sales, time
Trump praised the Supreme Court's ruling that dramatically limits the ability of federal judges to check presidential power, the conservative majority clearing the way for President Trump to carry out his executive order on birthright citizenship, at least until the Supreme Court issues a full ruling later this year. ABC's Johnny Fernandez has the latest.
President Trump celebrating the Supreme Court's landmark decision to allow him to move forward for now with plans to end birthright citizenship.
This morning, the Supreme Court has delivered a monumental victory for the Constitution, the separation of powers, and the rule of law.
This coming after federal judges in 3 states ruled Trump's day one executive order violates the Constitution. But Justice Amy Coney Barrett, writing for the conservative majority, saying federal courts do not exercise general oversight of the executive branch. They resolve cases and controversies.
It was a disaster where somebody from a certain location in a very liberal state or a liberal judge or a liberal group of judges could tie up a whole.
This one I be having a problem with him because one thing that Trump know, he know judges cannot have a party style. Legally, they're not supposed to. They have to be separate. They cannot be biased. So he say stuff like that just because when things don't go his way, that's when I be having a problem with your ass. Now, get to the money. That's when I have a problem with him, and I'm not going to act like I don't. If he just walk the goddamn law and get us our money, we'll be good. And I'm not being funny. At the end of the day, that is a win, whether people like it or not. And they want to come and they want to try to get me to visit them, calling names and stuff, talking about the United States. And you know what? It was something that happened that honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, that make me say, man, I've been looking at this thing wrong. Who said this was in my country? Just because y'all know of ancestors that's been to another country, you can't still put us all in that. Because that's the case, I could say you've been there too. At the end of the day, when I went on a stage the other day, and it really struck me that they got us effed up. These people on the stage were saying, go to Africa. And I'm saying to myself, and I'm never going to forget this conversation. You're going to send me over to Africa where I become the new foreigner. When I'm in my own country, I'm not a foreigner. My race is just as important as a white race. Even though we argue about that, I know one thing. My race as a Black woman in the United States weighs far more weight than you sending me over to Africa, where I have to start over again like I'm a new foreigner. That is not me saying that I don't want to visit Africa. But you got to be careful what people say too. You want to send us over to Africa, but where is the knowledge of it? Yeah, you got to get your own knowledge, but okay, so where's the connections? Well, you got to get your own connections. So how do I get started? Well, you got to already know how to get started. I'm so goddamn confused as to which way to go because If I'm struggling like this here in the United States, what's going to make it easy over there? And I got less chances over there, because just because you go over there and you can see ways to make money, you still got to be over there making the money, living over there. Oh, well, you can send the money back and forth. So now you're telling me to go over there and take 5 years to understand it. So I got to learn a whole nother culture. Then I got to get over there and start dealing with the cock blockers. I'm totally confused.
Whole country for years, because their decision would sometimes take years to overturn.
The vote Friday, 6-3, along ideological lines. Justice Sonia Sotomayor writing in a biting dissent, saying the liberal justices would not join so grave an attack on our system of law, arguing Trump's attempt to end birthright citizenship makes a solemn mockery of the Constitution. Birthright citizenship has been guaranteed by the Constitution for more than 150 years. On Friday, Attorney General Pam Bondi deflected questions about how citizenship for newborns in America could be determined.
This is all pending litigation. It's going to be decided in October by the Supreme Court, and we'll discuss that after the litigation.
Johnny Fernandez, ABC.
Lost. What does he mean?
Pending litigation. It's going to be decided
150 years. On Friday, Attorney General Pam Bondi deflected questions about how citizenship for newborns in America could be determined.
What you mean how citizenship for newborns in America is going to be determined? First of all, we got to get these people, round them up. And you honestly can really start from that date. It sounds like it's going to be a mess. Let it be a mess at first. It'll clean itself up. Anything you do going to be a mess. You know, if they're illegal citizen, and if they ever get caught and you link their children, they will have to go. It's going to seem messy in the beginning because that's what people do. They make it messy. But my point is, how much money will we free up from the ground and start heading up? So they say, oh, you can't stop this, you can't stop that, you can't stop the other. I'm going to be honest with you. At some point or another, you also got to get tired of feeling sad for people. I mean, you honestly start feeling sad for people for what? For you to always feel sad for them is what that is. Honestly, I'm tired of feeling sad for people when I'm sad. I'm sad on the side where I'm making sure you got people that's illegally getting food stamps and all the other benefits from the government. And then when it's your time to be in need, you can't even be in need because you're still feeling sad for someone. But this is the time you probably really need it. And honestly, this is honestly the time, whether people believe it or not, in the times of revelation, this is what you go through. But you got to know how to be strong enough to go through the storm. But I don't want to continue to go through storms where people don't even know how it feels. I've already did what I'm supposed to do, and where I'm at now, I'm ready to start taking care of me. And at certain points, it's every man has to be for themselves because it's just not right. And I feel that people have been abusing the system for a long time. I'm talking about even dating back to aunties and stuff. I'm going to say aunties. I'm going to say two generations of aunties. But I hate when people come over from other countries, whether you're black or white, And they start picking on us. They start picking on us. But they're forgetting they're over here. Oh, Americans, this, Americans, that. When I look at a lot of the channels, it's always coming from those men that are not even in this country. But they over in another country, not understanding that in your country, you're still black, buddy. But you're only picking on me because I'm from another country, the bigger country. Just like if you go over to Africa, if you want to live over to Africa, ain't nothing wrong with that. As long as you understand what you're getting into, long as you understand what the new culture is, long as you understand what the rules and regulations are, as long as you know what you got to do to start making you money over there, as long as you see, everything got to go back to as long as you. And I hope when you do it, you have had the adequate time to figure out what you want, because it ain't just Africa that you could go to. It's other places you could go to also, but they want to send you back to your homeland. So you want me to go back to my homeland that was about 2,000 years ago. So basically you're sending me over to my homeland from 2,000 years ago. And now I got to relearn the lands. Understood, but who can make me understand? At the end of the day, whether people like this or not, whether they care about whether or not, you know, the birthright citizenship take place, which is it already is taking place. Because I guess the judge got the rule on it at the end of this year. Like, not cool.
Hi, everyone. I'm David Lopez, Kenner Professional Artistic Ambassador.
I mean, like, do we really care about David Lopez like that? I mean, we trying to watch some serious business here, because I just had to sit back one day and look at how the impact of this would actually play a role. The impact of this, whew, can be so detrimental to us moving forward in life, and y'all don't even know it. Oh, what the hell? Right here, what the hell?
Is saying that the birthright citizenship. And Andy, let me just interrupt you for a moment here, because in my ear, the producer is saying that the birthright citizenship case is the first one. We do not know the result, yes, but that is coming. Shannon is looking at it now, Andy.
Yeah, you know, I have to make one overarching observation about this, Dana. When we were here last year doing all this, it felt much more consequential. Not to say that Supreme Court cases are anything other than consequential, but last year we had these cases that were on which the balance of the 2024 election seemed to rise and fall. And I'm kind of thankful to be back in an environment where the Supreme Court is doing what the Supreme Court does, and it doesn't feel like the democracy itself hinges on it.
And Jonathan, as we stand by and wait for Shannon Bream to update us on what the decision was, the way I understand it is SCOTUS isn't necessarily ruling on the constitutionality of birthright citizenship, the 14th Amendment. They're going to be ruling on the ability for these lower district judges to issue these nationwide injunctions. So depending on what we hear today, we're still going to have question marks about birthright citizenship. Is that right?
That's right. And with the national injunctions or universal injunctions issue, the justices obviously were concerned. They have previously expressed their discontent with district courts issuing these orders. So there does seem to be a majority saying that this exceeded authority. The question is, how will they thread this needle? How will they limit the district courts?
Jonathan, let me just interrupt you.
Forward?
I'm sorry for the interruption, but Shannon has some information for us. Let's go to you, Shannon Bream. You're there with that case?
Okay, yes. So this is at least a partial, if not a full, and we're reading this because there are several concurrences here, but it's written by Justice Barrett, which goes against the ruling that I just gave the guidance because she's one of the least junior justices, but she was assigned to write this opinion. And essentially what she says, some say that the universal injunctions give the judiciary a powerful tool to check the executive branch, but she says federal courts do not exercise general oversight of the executive branch. They resolve cases and controversies consistent with the authority Congress has given to them. When a court concludes the executive branch has acted unlawfully, the answer is not for the court to exceed its power, sounding very much like they are limiting these injunctions. We know here that they have granted at least partially the stay to these preliminary injunctions, but they say only to the extent that the injunctions are broader than necessary to provide complete relief to each plaintiff with standing to sue. They say the lower courts have to move expeditiously with respect to each of these plaintiffs. It says the injunctions are also stayed to the extent that they prohibit executive agencies from developing and issuing public guidance about the executive plans to implement the executive order. If you remember, part of this executive order on birthright citizenship, the stay was that the agencies that would be responsible for actually implementing the change with birthright citizenship, those agencies couldn't even start making a plan. So that part of it is lifted as well. We do see that the dissent here comes from the three justices you expect. It looks like Justice Sotomayor filed the dissent. Kagan and Jackson joined that. Justice Jackson also filed a dissenting opinion, but there are a lot of concurrences here. Justice Thomas, Justice Alito, there are others. So we'll parse through this, but at its first blush, it looks like this is a win and putting a limit on these nationwide injunctions. We'll see how far those limits go as we dig back through this.
Got it. Want to bring Jonathan Turley back in. Shannon, thank you. So Jonathan, it sounds like this is kind of what you were mentioning earlier, 6-3 decision granting a partial stay on these nationwide injunctions unless there's a broader impact. Kind of decipher that for us.
Well, I've only started to read the opinion, but what I've seen does look like a victory for the Trump administration. Justice Barrett is saying that the only way for justices to exercise this type of universal injunction in some of these cases is equitable relief. But she does not find evidence that that type of relief was granted to these judges. So they indicate that the administration is likely to prevail on this issue. All of that is going to be awfully good news for this administration. They have been really hit with these sort of Lilliputian attacks. There are all these individual district judges effectively freezing federal policy and programs across the country. So it does appear to be a victory. It may be a bit more nuanced, but so far it looks like a good day for the Trump administration.
Andy, a question for you. Again, here are my dumb questions. This is not on the merits of birthright citizenship then, it looks like, but am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I think we never get to the merits because of the injunction issue. And it seemed to me that what made this case very interesting to people at the beginning was the birthright citizenship question and the very important question of whether that's compelled by the 14th Amendment or not. As the case was litigated, it really became.
And that's where I don't be understanding. What do you mean whether it was compelled by? I mean, because at the end of the day, if we get illegal immigrants in the country, they don't have any type of treaty as if when they come in the country, they get to stay legal. I think the only one that get to be legal, if I'm not mistaken, is Cubans. So why they ain't thrown in the mesh? I'm only saying. What the hell?
Are you one of the millions of Americans who suffer from an upset stomach after?
No, I'm not. But how did you get on here? I made a mistake and clicked the thing, and now they throw me into a damn commercial. They got more commercials than I got. Sheesh.
Because in my ear, the producer is saying that the birthright citizenship case is the first one. We do not know the result yet, but that is coming. Shannon is looking at it now, Andy.
Yeah, I have to make one overarching observation about this, Dana. When we were here last year doing all this, it felt much more consequential. Not to say that Supreme Court cases are anything other than consequential, But last year we had these cases that were on which the balance of the 2024 election seemed to rise and fall. And I'm kind of thankful to be back in an environment where the Supreme Court is doing what the Supreme Court does, and it doesn't feel like the democracy itself hinges on it.
And Jonathan, as we stand by and wait for Shannon Bream to update us on what the decision was, the way I understand it is SCOTUS isn't necessarily ruling on the constitutionality of birthright citizenship, the 14th Amendment. They're going to be ruling on the ability for these lower district judges to issue these nationwide injunctions. So depending on what we hear today, we're still going to have question marks about birthright citizenship. Is that right?
That's right. And with the national injunctions or universal injunctions issue, the justices obviously were concerned. They have previously expressed their discontent with district courts issuing these orders. So there does seem to be a majority saying that this exceeded authority. The question is, how will they thread this needle? How will they limit the district courts?
Jonathan, let me just interrupt you. I'm sorry for the interruption, but Shannon has some information for us. Let's go to you, Shannon Bream. You're there with that case?
200 years of American history without having a single one involves a court not only making a decision that binds the parties before it, but making a decision for the whole nation under circumstances where the court is the non-political branch that doesn't answer to the people whose lives are affected by these rulings. And I think it's interesting what Shannon just told us about Justice Sotomayor's suggestion that you go to class actions. That would even that, I think, would be a victory for the Trump administration in the sense that class actions are much more rigorous and much more regulated than the idea of these district judges in a completely untethered way, just making rulings that apply to the whole country.
Y'all seen it, people. I guess that'll do it. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to stand firm for Karmelo Anthony whenever his next court date is, because I think he's supposed to have a court date coming up. I will make sure that you tune in because I'll be here, even if it's only me. I will make sure that I bring you however I feel about it, what I said about it, what I've seen about it, and who I think lying about it. I stand firm on that. I stand firm on Anton Massey not going anywhere. I stand firm on my small channel talent search. Hey, y'all make sure y'all come out every Friday at 8 p.m. The prize is $100 and then support. I stand on that. This your girl, Queen Diddy. When Diddy said it, I say like, share, comment, subscribe. If you don't do anything else, I say get to know me.
They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. Two-step, then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. 7 fit flex on the checks on that.